What if I told you the deadliest bomber in US history doesn't roar through the sky, it vanishes into it? Sounds impossible, right? Before I blow your mind with how this $2 billion flying wing can cross continents, dodge radar, and strike without ever being seen, hit that subscribe button, because today we're diving deep into the most secretive aircraft ever built and why you won't believe this exists. In the tense years of the 1970s, every reconnaissance flight felt like a gamble. Each lumbering B-52 overhead was both a statement of American might and a glaring target for Soviet radar operators. These stratofortresses, bristling with nuclear ordnance and cruising the Arctic's polar routes, became emblematic of the era's precarious balance, highly visible symbols of deterrence that also laid bare their own vulnerability. Soviet air defenses, honed through decades of intelligence gathering and technological innovation, deployed increasingly capable SA-2 and SA-5 surface-to-air missiles, while MiG-25 Foxbat interceptors streaked through the skies at Mach 2.5, ready to pounce on any intruding bomber. Each patrol felt like threading a needle under the watchful glare of ground-based radar nets that painted a glowing bullseye on the bomber's path. The Air Force leadership recognized that massed formations of vulnerable B-52s could no longer guarantee a credible second strike capability. Any large formation risked catastrophic losses before reaching Soviet airspace. The message was clear. To preserve deterrence, America needed a new kind of bomber, one that could slip through defenses without ever appearing on a screen. In classified corridors of the Pentagon, strategic planners sketched out requirements for an aircraft that would shatter the paradigm. Low observable, high altitude, and capable of delivering its payload deep into enemy territory without warning. In early 1978, the Air Force quietly issued its request for proposals for the ATB program, prioritizing three imperatives: minimal radar signature, extreme aerodynamic efficiency, and robust mission systems capable of evading or jamming enemy defenses. The request sent ripples through the aerospace industry. Boeing, Lockheed, and Northrop each assembled teams of engineers and stealth specialists to propose designs that met these stringent criteria. But when Northrop unveiled its radical blended wing concept, an aircraft architecture that merged wing and fuselage into a single seamless shape, it stopped the competition in its tracks. Unlike traditional designs, this tailless form promised inherently low radar reflectivity while offering ample internal volume for fuel, avionics, and weapon bays. Behind Northrop's proposal was decades of intellectual investment in the flying wing concept, an idea that had long captivated visionaries but eluded practical realization. Recognizing that digital flight control systems had matured to the point where they could counteract inherent instability, the ATB program office recommended awarding Northrop an initial development contract. Thus, under strict security protocols and code names like Senior Ice, the advanced technology bomber began taking shape on wind tunnel models and early prototype assemblies. The stakes could not have been higher. If this program failed, the United States would lack a stealthy strategic bomber well into the next century. Jack Northrop's dream first took flight in the 1940s with his YB-35 and YB-49 prototypes, sleek tailless aircraft that promised unmatched range and efficiency. But sidelined by World War II's urgencies and plagued by yaw instability, those pioneering machines never advanced beyond a handful of test flights, and the era's mechanical autopilots couldn't tame their unpredictable behavior. By the late 1970s, fly-by-wire technology, digital control systems that process pilots' input and aerodynamic data thousands of times per second, had matured in both military jets and civilian airliners. Northrop's engineers realized they could finally address the instability that doomed the YB-49. Sophisticated computers paired with multiple redundant sensors could adjust trailing edge flaps in real time to maintain controlled flight. In simulated environments, the revival of the flying wing concept showed remarkable promise. It reduced radar cross-section, increased lift-to-drag ratio, and the potential to cruise at high subsonic speeds with lower fuel consumption. When the Department of Defense gave the green light, the B-2 Spirit became not just an aircraft, but the triumphant realization of a 35-year-old vision. Stealth on the B-2 begins with an almost geometric art form. Every angle was chosen to reflect radar waves away from the source, preventing strong returns that would betray the bomber's position. Unlike conventional aircraft with vertical tails and cylindrical fuselages that act like corner reflectors, the B-2's continuous curved surfaces and sawtooth trailing edges break up and scatter radar signals. Wind tunnel testing and computer simulations iterated over thousands of shape adjustments to find the optimal balance between stealth and lift. Yet stealth is not only about shape, it's also about avoiding infrared detection. These engines are buried deep within the wing's center to cool exhaust gases before they exit, and specially baffled exhaust ducts mix ambient air with the hot gases, reducing the bomber's heat signature. Even the paint itself is a marvel. Radar-absorbent coatings are engineered with microscopic iron spheres suspended in polymer binders, tuned to absorb electromagnetic energy at frequencies most commonly used by Soviet early warning radars. This symphony of geometry, materials, and airflow control allows the B-2 to slip undetected through multi-layered air defense networks, truly a phantom in the sky. Maintaining the B-2's stealth skin is a mission unto itself. Technicians work in immaculate, climate-controlled hangars, where humidity and temperature are precisely regulated to protect the delicate radar-absorbing materials. Every access panel, fastener, and service door uses specialized seals to maintain a flush surface, and any displacement of more than a fraction of an inch can degrade the aircraft's radar invisibility. Technicians spend up to 400 hours per aircraft per year inspecting and reapplying stealth coatings, using advanced scanners to detect microscopic imperfections that the naked eye might miss. B-2 maintenance crews also managed its composite structure. Layers of carbon graphite composite interleaved with specialized honeycomb cores from the aircraft's backbone, delivering an ideal combination of lightness and strength. When a panel is removed for system access, it must be reinstalled with torque-controlled fasteners and gap fillers that preserve the stealth profile. In many ways, each B-2 is less a bomber and more a high-precision laboratory, where even routine maintenance carries the weight of national security. Radar sees rotating metal like a beacon. Each turbine blade in a jet engine acts like a mirror, gleaming back enemy pulses. The B-2 Spirit, however, buries its two General Electric F-118 GE-100 engines deep within the wing's thick center. Air intakes sit flush on the upper surface of the wing, hidden from ground-based radar arrays. As air enters, it travels through an S-shaped duct, gliding around a serpentine curve that prevents direct line of sight to the compressor face. By the time the air meets the spinning blades, its path has already been bent away from prying radomes. Once combusted, the hot exhaust doesn't roar upward in a visible plume. Instead, it channels through mixing chambers where ambient air cools the gases before release. This dramatically reduces the aircraft's infrared signature, thwarting heat-seeking missiles. In practice, a B-2 cruising at 30,000 feet delivers barely a whisper of its presence. Low thermal contrast against the cold stratosphere. It doesn't roar in like a rocket and flash on enemy sensors. It slides in like a shadow, unseen until it's too late. Beyond stealth ducts and cooled exhaust lies a mindset: minimize every trace. The B-2 operates on slow and cold principles, not for lack of performance, but by design. Its engines favor quiet, sustained thrust over raw speed, granting it intercontinental reach without setting off radar alarms or infrared warnings. A flying wing without a tail should, by all accounts, tumble uncontrollably. There's no vertical fin to arrest yaw, no horizontal tailpipe to balance pitch. In textbook aerodynamics, it's a recipe for disaster. Yet the B-2 Spirit achieves stability through thousands of split-second adjustments managed by its digital brain. At the heart lies a quadruple redundant fly-by-wire system. Motion sensors, accelerometers, pitot tubes, all feed real-time data into flight control computers thousands of times per second. When turbulence tugs the wingtip or crosswinds buffet the nose, the system instantly deflects elevons and split rudders, tiny control surfaces etched into the trailing edge of the wing, to counteract any unwanted movement. Pilots input a heading and altitude, the computer translates that into precise wing surface choreography. This orchestration extends across every mission phase: takeoff, cruise, bombing run, and landing. During a high-speed ingress, the system modulates control surfaces for optimal lift and drag. In heavy turbulence, it smooths out jolts that would rattle a conventional airframe. Even in engine-out scenarios, the B-2's computer rebalances thrust asymmetry instantly, maintaining heading and altitude while the crew troubleshoots. It's not just flying, it's flight as software, where stability is achieved through computation rather than mechanical design. The Spirit's purpose is paradoxical: to be invisible yet carry enough destructive force to reshape battlefields. Its internal bays swallow up 20 metric tons of munitions without compromising its radar-evading contours. For conventional targets, it can unload 80 GBU-38 Joint Direct Attack munitions, 500-pound bombs guided by GPS to within a few meters of their aim point. When strategic deterrence is required, it can lift B-61 or B-83 nuclear gravity bombs with the same stealthy ingress, ensuring that the payload arrives before defenses can even wake up. For hardened, deeply buried bunkers, those thought impregnable, it takes on the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, a 30,000-pound torque-drilling behemoth built to punch through tens of meters of reinforced concrete. Range is non-negotiable. With over 11,000 kilometers of unrefueled range, the B-2 can strike halfway around the globe, but with aerial refueling it becomes effectively limitless. Tankers rendezvous discreetly along the route, extending endurance for multiple strike waves or diversionary patrols. Satellite-linked targeting pods stream real-time feeds back to mission control, enabling last-minute retasking of weapons onto emergent targets with surgical precision. Whether it's a nighttime sortie deep into contested airspace or a high-altitude run above weather systems, the B-2's blend of stealth, endurance, and firepower make it a one-aircraft strategic squadron. Each Spirit carries a price tag of approximately $2 billion when accounting for research, development, and procurement, a figure that dwarfs every other combat aircraft in history. Only 21 were built before budget constraints and shifting priorities halted the program. Flying a single mission is not simply about manning a cockpit. It requires a dedicated crew of maintainers, each one trained to repair and preserve the fragile radar-absorbent coatings that keep the aircraft unseen. These special materials are applied by hand, layer by layer, and any blemish, chip, or crack can compromise health. Before each flight, technicians conduct hours of inspections under UV light to detect microscopic flaws invisible to the naked eye. Post-mission, a second round of maintenance ensures the aircraft returns to its signature low observable state. Operational costs exceed $100,000 per flight hour, factoring fuel, ancillary support, and the labor-intensive upkeep. Yet analysts argue the expense is offset by capability. A lone B-2 in a first strike role can neutralize high-value targets without risking large bomber formations or fighter escorts. In the realm of strategic deterrence, invisibility equates to influence. If adversaries can't see the bomber, they can't stop the bomb. After more than 30 years of silent dominance, from the skies over Kosovo to the deserts of Iraq, from the mountains of Afghanistan to convert tests in the Pacific, the B-2 is nearing retirement. In its place comes the Northrop Grumman B-21 Raider, a new chapter in stealth. Learning from the Spirit's maintenance challenges, the Raider employs advanced radar-absorbent materials that are more durable and easier to repair. Its open architecture mission systems run on cloud-based networks, allowing secure, over-the-air software upgrades that keep pace with evolving threats. Artificial intelligence assists with sensor queuing, threat evaluation, and autonomous target recognition, reducing crew workload and enabling faster decision cycles. Crucially, the B-21 is designed for both manned and optionally unmanned operations, offering commanders flexible deployment options. Though the B-21 will inherit the mantle of strategic invisibility, the legend of the Spirit remains unchallenged. The B-2 reshaped not only aviation technology, but strategic doctrine, proving that true power lies in what the enemy cannot detect. As the Raider rises, it carries forward a legacy of ghost flight and surgical strike, ensuring that the future of aerial warfare remains as silent and unseen as its Cold War predecessor. The B-2 Spirit is not just a machine, it's a symbol, a vision, risk, and the belief that technology can change the balance of power. It didn't just fly under radar, it flew past the boundaries of possibility. Would you dare to fly in a machine that was designed to disappear? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching this video with us, and catch you in the next one.